home and in the diaspora. With me this afternoon is Senator Honorable Gloria Thomas, Minister for Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs, Permanent Secretary with responsibility for Social Development and Gender Affairs within the Ministry of Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs, Mrs. Chrissy Worm-Charles, Social Development Director in the Ministry of Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs. And joining us online is the United Nations World Food Program Policy Officer, Mr. Nicholas Granger, and Mr. David Simard, Head of Cooperation for Canada Bridgetown. My name is Petra Louison, Public Relations Officer at the Ministry of Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs. This afternoon, we're here for the launch of the United Nations World Food Program Beryl Relief Income Support Program, BRISP, a social protection initiative designed to support individuals and households whose incomes and livelihoods have been significantly affected due to hurricane-related impacts following the recent passage of Hurricane Beryl. The program will provide financial assistance to those in need. It's a collaborative effort between the Government of Grenada, through the Ministry of Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs, and the United Nations World Food Program. The panelists will be giving us a synopsis of that initiative. Without any further ado, I now invite Minister Thomas to give us an insight of the program.
Thank you very much, Ms. Luzon. A pleasant good afternoon to all of you listeners and online viewers. I am happy to share some of the interventions that we have made in the aftermath of Hurricane Beryl, which impacted us on the 1st of July, 2024. As we launch this new initiative, we are mindful that many victims are looking forward for some additional support. As a ministry, we continue to support victims and provide social responses as necessary. We hear your cries, we feel your pain, and we empathize with you in this time of great loss. We want to assure you that we will continue to provide support as we embark on this journey of recovery. The impact of Hurricane Beryl has caused significant devastation across Carriacou, Pitimatnik, and the northern parts of Grenada. The hurricane's impact has left extensive damage that will require years to repair. One of the immediate consequences has been the loss of income for many individuals who are now out of work due to the hurricane's passage. In response to this crisis, the Government of Canada, in collaboration with the Caribbean Development Bank, has allocated funding to 7 Caribbean governments through Canada Curriculum Climate Adaptation Fund. This funding aimed to enhance coverage under the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility, CRIF, with a focus on strengthening social protection system to better respond to disasters, particularly those caused by tropical cyclones and heavy rainfall. Of this funding, 10.4%, which is approximately 11.2 million EC dollars or 4.2 million US, is specifically designated for social protection initiatives in Grenada. As a leading organization in social protection, my ministry, with technical support from the World Food Program, conducted consultations to determine the necessary interventions to support the affected communities. This collaboration has led to the creation of a new social protection initiative designed to provide income support to households impacted by hurricane for 6 months. And that period will be from November 2024 to April 2025. We are naming this initiative the Beryl Relief Income Support Program, BRISP. The primary goal of BRISP is to help families meet their basic needs and prevent them from resorting to negative coping strategies, such as skipping a meal or withdrawing children from school. The program will offer tailored financial assistance based on household size, ensuring that larger families will receive appropriate support. A transparent and accountable system will be established to monitor the program's effectiveness, address challenges, and incorporate feedback from the affected communities. Regular reports and audits will be conducted to ensure resources are used efficiently. The BRISP program will use updated empirical data to design an assessment tool that prioritizes the most deserving household, focusing on those with members who are mentally or chronically ill, disabled, pregnant, lactating, or elderly. Factors such as pre-hurricane socioeconomic conditions, employment status, and assessed loss will guide this prioritization. The program will target households in Carriacou, Pitimatnik, St. Patrick's, St. Mark's, St. John's, and St. Andrews, whose income have been disrupted by Hurricane Beryl. Other social safety net programs will assist households in St. George's and St. David's. So all persons will be looked after, but by different programs. Data collection and processing are on the way, with the program expected to launch on or before November 2024. In the coming weeks, the ministry will recruit and train the necessary workforce, including enumerators and project leads. A detailed schedule for community engagement will be communicated within 2 weeks. It would be a remiss of me if I did not extend my heartfelt thanks to all our social partners who have contributed to this relief effort. Their support has been invaluable in ensuring that help reaches those in need. I would like to acknowledge the significant contributions of the World Food Programme and UNICEF towards our nation's recovery. This donation of 40 tables, their donation of 40 tables has enhanced the ministry's digitization efforts, thus improving our service delivery. Additionally, World Food Programme has distributed 1,000 food kits in Carriacou from July 13th to the 15th, providing essential nourishment to the communities. The ministry has also received a Hurricane Beryl relief grant of EC $271,600 from the World Food Programme, which has been used to provide cash top-ups for 394 households. Support has also been extended to families in St. Patrick's, St. John, and St. Mark's through UNICEF. The response to Hurricane Beryl is a collective effort involving government agencies, international organizations, and local partners. Our focus is on providing immediate relief, supporting recovery, and building resilience among affected communities to better prepare for future disasters. The launch of the Beryl Relief Income Support Program is a crucial part of Grenada's hurricane social protection and safety net response. It represents a vital step towards enhancing our nation's ability to respond to and recover from hurricanes. By addressing immediate needs and investing in long-term resilience, this program aims to support and protect families whose income were lost due to the hurricane. Through coordinated efforts and targeted assistance, we are working towards a more resilient and prepared society. As Minister for Social Development, I am proud to officially declare the launch of the Beryl Relief Income Support Program. May it succeed in providing the much needed safety net support for families affected by the hurricane. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister. I now invite Permanent Secretary Jeremiah to provide us with application details of the initiative.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. A special good afternoon to all our online viewers and listeners here at home and in this diaspora. Today marks a momentous occasion for the Ministry of Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs. As we launch this very important initiative named Beryl, we know that our communities will feel the impact of such an initiative. The Beryl Relief Income Support Program, BRISP. So I hope that the communities in Grenada will familiarize themselves with this program. This program gave birth following the passage of Hurricane Beryl on the 1st of July, 2024. Firstly, I would like to mention that a couple weeks ago, the nation was informed of the payout received from CRIF, that is the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility. Now, 10.49 of the payment from CRIF facility must be allocated to social response, which is just approximately 11.2 million EC dollars. When I speak to social response, I am speaking to addressing the social protection system to make it more shock responsive, to allow our nation to respond to the social ills that will come following a level of disaster that we just faced recently. In addition, I would like to inform the nation that the Caribbean Development Bank, with support from the Canadian CARICOM Climate Adaptation Fund, CCAF, provided US $200,000 in addition to the CRIF premium support. Through this model, the World Food Programme collaborated with multiple Caribbean governments to increase the coverage of existing CRIF policy and strengthen how social protection system can be used to respond to disasters. A technical assistance agreement, the nation should note that this technical assistance agreement was signed recently between the government of Grenada and the World Food Programme, which specifies the position of the payout, which is 10.49% of the tropical cyclone that we just recently experienced. Since the CRIF policy triggered, the payment will support vulnerable populations impacted by this disaster. Now, the Ministry of Social Development benefited from grant funding. The Minister had mentioned a few. Initially, we got $220,500 from World Food Programme. Later on, we get another $264,000 and another $51,000, respectively. These was paid directly to our most vulnerable population, which is under the SEED, the Support for Education Program. We had started the payments, the cash transfer in Carriacou and PT Martinique. Then we move on to St. Patrick. And now in the coming weeks, we will move to St. John's and St. Max to provide us the needed support as needed. Now, I would like to say that 801 persons, beneficiaries, benefited in St. Patrick's. And also, we're hoping to have additional support to the other affected areas coming. Now, we also would like to note that there was distribution of hygiene kits, clothing, food items by various organizations, UNICEF, UNFPA, UN Women, and UFP, World Food Programme. Now, I will give the nation some breakdown as an account of our stewardship as a ministry. Firstly, I would like to say that following the passage of Hurricane Beryl, were faced with the task of relocating the elderlies and the families from Carriacou and Petit Martinique to mainland Grenada. I would like to say that the Top Hill home for the elderly was significantly damaged during the hurricane. As a result, the resident of the home was relocated to mainland. Subsequently, the location was deemed that the ministry needed to expand, in that there were other elderlies who were also vulnerable that the ministry was asked to cater. To date, I would like to inform our nation that we have 51 elderlies which are being relocated to Grenada presently. And we have a whole other couple of requests that our ministry has to respond to in short order. Additionally, 7 families, a total of 30 individuals, have been relocated also. The ministry is looking towards rebuilding the Top Hill home for the aged and working towards a more sustainable plan for the families and the elderlies who have migrated from Carriacou and Petit Martinique. I would also like to speak to the early childhood response. The Ministry of Social Development, Housing and Gender Affairs has established a partnership with UNICEF to support the early childhood units in Carriacou and Petit Martinique, which was severely impacted by Hurricane Beryl. The ministry has secured a grant of $8,000, which is approximately 21,360 EC dollars, to expand the unit's reach and impact to benefit a greater number of children in need of essential care and support. The ministry procured age-appropriate educational materials such as posters, early childhood development kit, activity books, among others. This initiative primarily benefits children enrolled in private child care centers, home-based care arrangements. The sole government-operated centers, which sustain minimal damage, will continue to provide care for children. Now I will move towards our psychosocial team response. The psychosocial team response, led by Ms. Kizzy Matthew McLawrence, the whole objective of this response was to promote psychological well-being after a disaster, using various disaster mental health interventions to safeguard against post-disaster mental health issues. The intervention method include psychological first aid and trauma-informed care counseling. I would like to say thanks to Ms. Kizzy and her team, both locally and the other stakeholders who supported this initiative. We, as a ministry, responded to all the first-line front workers. We had responded to the National Emergency Operating Center in Carriacou, police officers, just to name a few, nurses, staff of the Lauriston Airport, Top Hill elderly staff. We also responded to the Hillsborough Shelter residents, Lauriston Shelter, Petit Martinique, the RC School Shelter, Mount Pleasant, Bishop College, Six Roads, Brunswick, Lauriston Stadium, all the frontline workers there, including the Harvey Vale RC School. We also had community walkabout to help to reach the residents in the community. Then we have also had some walkabout in Hillsborough, Buggles, Cherry Hill, Prospect Hall, Windward, Bellevue, Paradise Beach, just to name a few. And we had really impacted the community to reach them to ensure that our community received the psychosocial need. Now I will turn to a few other areas that our ministry would like to say that our ministry is poised with a very important project, the BRISP, as was mentioned by my minister. The Beryl Relief Income Support Program aims at providing income support to households whose income was affected by Hurricane Beryl in the parishes of Carriacou, Petit Martinique, and the northern parishes of Grenada. Now, the ministry, along with the World Food Program, conducted a series of consultations to determine the best fit for this country in terms to provide the correct response. The program is expected to allow the beneficiary household to meet their basic monthly needs. And I want to stress that it's a program to help families and households. Now, our ministry also wants the nation to know that there is a targeted audience who we're going to be able to apply. Now, the program is proposed to run for 6 months, and the targeted audience are those really impacted. So we want the nation, don't think that because you live in Carriacou or Grenada or PC Martinique, you could just apply. We are looking for a targeted audience, those who are definitely affected by the hurricane. These are the ones who are going to be asked to apply. Now, we have to implement the program. How we are going to implement it? We are going to implement it using data. We believe as a ministry that once we have data, data can help us to make decisions and wise decision for our citizens. So we're going to be using data collection system named the COBO software. We have, as Minister stated, we're going to be employing our survey team. They're going to be in the districts and the communities. Later on, you will hear a lot about where they're going to be located. So you, our nation, who are affected can come out and apply. When you come to apply, also, you need to have your IDs. And I want to take note that is one person per household. One person per household who should apply. So if you have a household with about 5-6 persons, not everybody could come in and say they're applying. The head of the household is advisable to be the one to apply for that assistance. Now, on that note, I would like to pause a little and say a special thanks to the persons, both locally and in the diaspora and international community, who has really been supporting the ministry. I would like to say a special thanks to our Minister for Social Development, who stand strong and respond to the social needs of our citizens. I would like to express as a PS for Social Development the countless hours and nights and the times of the mornings that she stood up and really put things together to ensure that our nation would make it through these difficult times. I also like to say thanks to the Cabinet and the members of Cabinet for supporting the program and all the other initiatives of the ministry. I'd like to make also a special thanks to Ms. Bibi Owens-Miles. She came forward and tried to assist us in many ways, groceries, assist the school children to go back to school. I also like to say thanks to Sanders Grenada Limited, NADMA, the Commissioner of Police, who provided support to us in many ways. I also like to say thanks to the CMO, the Chief Medical Officer, and the Chief Community Health Nurse, medical stores, the Retired Social Workers Association, the staff of the Ministry of Social Development, who were called upon to remain back late times in the nights and weekends and Saturdays and Sundays and provide response. I would like to say to the Catholic community, our Bishop Clive Harvey, for his continued support, the management of the various homes that are caring for our elderlies, the caregivers, the management of Top Hill, the World Food Program, of course, who has been a guard to stand, the consultants that we receive, UNICEF, UNFPA, UN Women. I'd like to also solicit the support of our nation, the Rotary Club of Grenada, for continuing to provide support. On this note, I'd like to also solicit support to this remuneration process that will start soon. All Grenadians are asked to support, and let us get success from this program. And I believe we as a team together, we will going to get success. I charge us all. And finally, I would like to say thanks to God, the Almighty God, for his blessings on this tri-island state of Grenada, for allowing us to be able to come together and respond positively to our needs. May God bless us all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, P.S. Jeremiah. I now invite the World Food Program Policy Officer, Mr. Granger, to join us online.
Thank you. Senator the Honorable Gloria Thomas, Minister for Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs. Mrs. Naomi Joseph, Permanent Secretary with responsibility for Social Development and Gender Affairs. Mrs. Chrissy Worm-Charles, Director of Social Development. Mr. David Simard, Acting Head of Cooperation for Canada in Bridgetown. Mr. Isaac Anthony, CEO of CRIF SPC, other distinguished guests, WFP team members in Grenada, and members of the media, good afternoon. I bring to you warm greetings from the World Food Program, Caribbean Multi-Country Office. Hurricane Beryl's destruction has left thousands of families without shelter and income. With support from our partners, the World Food Program has been working with the Government of Grenada to get critical food and cash assistance to those people who were most affected. Our work to advance the Beryl Relief Income Support Program, or BRISP as it's called, is a continuation of this support. This program represents a significant moment for the World Food Program in the region. Since its inception, WFP has collaborated with governments and partners to explore innovative approaches for disaster response. We recognize that post-disaster, governments with high levels of debt and limited fiscal space, like those in the Caribbean, are severely challenged to meet the cost of rebuilding infrastructure while supporting people. The Beryl Relief Income Support Program uses a model where a portion of the payouts under the CRIF excess rainfall and tropical cyclone policies will be used to deliver cash assistance to persons impacted by the storm. WFP first introduced this model in 2021 with the support of CRIF and the government of the Commonwealth of Dominica. And while multiple countries have since opted to use this model, the insurance payouts as a result of Hurricane Beryl are the first to see this model in action, where WFP has played a key role by providing technical assistance for the design and implementation of a new program. Therefore, Grenada is the first country to roll out under the BRISP. Grenada's participation in this model was facilitated through the Canada CARICOM Climate Adaptation Fund, which is administered through the Caribbean Development Bank. We wish to express thanks to both the Government of Canada and the Caribbean Development Bank, as well as CRIF, for their willingness to facilitate this process, but also for their trust in the concept. At WFP, we know that when disasters strike, social protection systems are activated to support the worst affected and most vulnerable people, but this is why the role of the Ministry of Social Development in reinforcing their own social protection systems is key. With this, we support linking social protection systems with insurance to create a critical safety net. This approach provides governments with resources to quickly assist people in a cost-effective way. While WFP has not had a major presence in Grenada before the storm, the BRISP and wider Hurricane Beryl response are ongoing activities which we will continue to support. In addition to collaborating with the Ministry of Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs to design the structure of this cash assistance program, we will be present through to its conclusion. Our team members will work hand in hand with the ministry at all stages of the process, sharing expertise and learning from the Beryl Relief Income Support Program. The lessons we learn from implementing this model will be invaluable. They will not only enhance our current responses, but also shape our future strategies, allowing us to better support communities facing the brunt of these shocks. We at WFP look forward to forging an even stronger relationship with the government and the people of Grenada to promote greater resilience to shocks. Once again, thank you to all who have made this partnership possible. Together, we are making strides towards a more resilient and prepared Caribbean, and we are proud to be part of this vital effort. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Granger. I now invite Director Chrissy Wom-Charles to give us an overview of the program.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Senator the Honorable Gloria Thomas, Minister for Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs, Mrs. Naomi Jeremiah, Permanent Secretary with responsibility for Social Development and Gender Affairs, Ministry of Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs, UNWFP Program Policy Officer, Mr. Nicholas Granger, and Mr. David Simard, Head of Cooperation for Canada Bridgetown. I am pleased to expand and share the progress made by the Government of Grenada, particularly through the Ministry of Social Development in its efforts to reduce poverty and to improve the quality of life for those affected by Hurricane Beryl. This initiative aims to support households that have lost their income due to the hurricane's impact. To clarify, the Beryl Relief Income Support Program is designed to provide financial assistance to households in Carriacou, Petite Martinique, and the parishes of St. Patrick, St. Mark, St. John, and St. Andrew. This support is not limited to public assistance or seed beneficiaries, but it extends to anyone who has lost their job or experienced a significant decrease in business income due to the hurricane. It is important to note that while the cash transfer value of the program is intended to bridge the gap caused by income loss, it does not cover expenses related to rebuilding, housing repairs, or acquired livelihood assets. Now, the eligibility criteria. How does one actually get onto the program? So the applicants will be screened based on the following criteria. The geographic location. Households in Carriacou, Petite Martinique, or the affected areas of the parishes of St. Patrick, St. Mark, St. John, and St. Andrew. So I just want to repeat again. Households in Carriacou, Petite Martinique, or the affected areas of the parishes of St. Patrick, St. Mark, St. John, and St. Andrew. The income impact. Households that have experienced significant income loss as a result of Hurricane Beryl and whose overall income falls below the poverty line. So I'm going to just do a repeat. The other criteria is the income impact. Households that have experienced significant income loss as a result of Hurricane Beryl and whose overall income falls below the poverty line. So applicants will be assessed using the following criteria. We'll be looking at the socioeconomic situation, the employment status of adults, sector of employment, the dependency ratio, assets owned and lost, and the housing situation. The household demographics, presence of mentally ill individuals, people with disabilities, pregnant women, lactating mothers, children, and elderly members within the family. Now, the duration of the program will run from November 2024 to April 2025. So it's a 6 months program as affirmed by our minister. The program aligns with the peak tourism season in January, helping to mitigate income gaps and facilitate a smoother transition back to stability. It also aligns with the agricultural sector and provides a necessary respite for the sector to begin its recovery process. Now, the monthly transfers. The allocated transfer value is calculated through a tailored approach linked to the poverty line. Household size and average monthly consumption of households on food needs. The objective is to ensure that the affected households remain above the poverty line, reducing their vulnerability risks. The assistance will cover 75% of the overall household expenditure based on the poverty line, with an additional 1/3 allocation of the poverty rate on food needs. Upon reaching recovery phase and phase out, because there will be an end to the program, which only lasts 6 months, the amount will be lowered to 50%, right? So where are we and where will we be before April the 25th? And that is when the program will come to an end. So currently the ministry is working on staffing this important program. We've completed master training of trainers, and we will be training our enumerators once they are selected. After they are selected, we would have persons going into the communities. Information for this will be provided in short order within 2 weeks as to where people are going to be applying. Right? So you'll have different points at which people can, access support and fill out the necessary information. And after that is done, we would have a verification process. So once the information is received, then we will have officers coming to verify the necessary information to ensure that we have valid data and that we can reach the people who really need the support. And after that, we would see an enrollment to the program. We'll go through a process. We'll have an enrollment program, and handout will be given, more than likely cash in hand, and it would last to April 2025, in 6 months' time. So you'll be hearing more from us, from the Ministry of Social Development, as we continue to unpack the activities so that we can reach as much people as we possibly can. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Warm-Charles, and I now invite Mr. Simard to join us online.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I just wanted to acknowledge that the protocol has been acknowledged. And I wanted to thank, before I got into anything, for the ministers and the permanent secretaries, as well as the directors, comprehensive overview of Grenada's response to Beryl. Was very informative for me. Invited guests, members of the media, thank you all for joining us today. On behalf of the Government of Canada, I would like to extend our most heartfelt sympathies to the people of Grenada as you continue to recover from the impacts of Hurricane Beryl. This has undoubtedly been a challenging time, and trust me when I say our thoughts are with all of those affected. Today, we're here to celebrate, in fact, a significant milestone in Grenada's disaster resilience journey. The launch of Grenada's Beryl Relief Income Support Program is a testament to your strength and your foresight. By investing in climate and disaster risk insurance through CRIF SPC, Grenada has taken a proactive approach to safeguarding its citizens from the increasing threats posed by climate change. Canada is proud to have contributed to this important initiative through our support to and partnership with the World Food Programme, the Caribbean Development Bank, and CRIF SPC. This year, Canada was pleased to be able to provide top-ups to CRIF insurance premiums for 7 Caribbean countries. In Grenada, this top-up led to a higher CRIF payout, and these funds will now form the backbone of the Beryl Relief Income Support Program, providing vital support to those who need it most in the aftermath of this devastating storm. This program is not just a lifeline to Grenadians, but also a model for other countries facing similar challenges. Can't underscore that enough. It demonstrates how effective climate and disaster risk insurance can be. It also highlights the need to develop strong shock responsive social protection systems that are responsive to the needs of vulnerable communities, households, and individuals. By investing in such innovative solutions, Grenada is setting a new standard for climate resilience and disaster preparedness. The threats posed by climate change are real and growing, and Grenada, like many other nations, is on the front line. This program highlights the importance of preparedness, the positive impact that forward-thinking policies can have in mitigating the effects of such disasters. Canada stands with Grenada as a committed partner in fighting the impacts of climate change. We admire the proactive measures that you have taken and remain dedicated to supporting Grenada in building a more resilient future. Thank you to everyone involved in making this program a reality. Your efforts and collaboration are making a meaningful difference in these times of need, and together we are showing the world how nations can work together to overcome adversity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Simard, and I think that's where we've come to the end of this afternoon's briefing. I would like to say thank you again to the Government Information Service and Mikey Live for providing us with the platform for the launch of this very important program, and to our media entities also for joining in and for your continued support in assisting us to disseminate information like these. To our viewers, let's be reminded of the objective of this initiative, and within the coming weeks, more information will be provided for the actual rollout of the program. Remember the application details and how to apply. Please be assured that the Ministry of Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs will continue to provide support as we embark on the recovery journey. And again, special thanks to the World Food Program and all our social partners. Do have a pleasant evening and a safe and blessed weekend. Thank you.